So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whichever part of the world you're in from. My name is Yogesh Kapoor, all the way from Jakarta, Indonesia, and I would love to welcome you all to the first launch event of BU Community. Give me some love in the chat. Now, 6 months back, we all had a community that shut down, as we all know. And what I realized was I was out of place for the last 6 months. Grace, who is my accountability partner, and she's here today. I remember the first Friday we didn't have a talk. I messaged her saying that, Grace, I'm feeling out of place, because I missed it so much. I missed the family here so much. And the last couple of months were like, I was thinking, what do I do about this? And speaking to some of you, all of you said, you know what, we missed the Friday talks. And when I realized that it's new moon today, I said to myself, you know what, just go for it. I don't have the logistics. I don't have the website. I have nothing going. Even the logo wasn't ready till this week. But I learned something from a movie long back was a good plan today is better than a perfect plan tomorrow. And I really missed the community, so I just jumped in. And I just wanted to pick on the pieces where we left off previously. There was so much promise. And what I realized was that it's not the end of it. So I decided to start BU Community. I just want to go over the Zoom etiquette. So let's keep ourselves muted at all times. Please keep your videos on at all times, unless you're eating, operating machinery, driving, or doing something that would distract anybody. And most importantly, this is a very sacred, holy space. So please keep your commenting very positive. Any negative commenting or any commenting that is not related to today's speaker or event will be removed. And now I would like to start today by lighting a candle to start this event. And just to add in, today's new moon is the most powerful new moon to start anything. So for those of you who still have time on the other side of the world, 4 things you got to do: clean your space, light a candle, light some incense, and get some crystals. And that's what I've been doing all day. So here's a candle to the beginning of the BU community. I have my crystals next to me, and I'll just clean the space with my little bowl here. Oh, it's not working with me. Okay, thank you for that. And I want to begin with a poetry from our very lovely Jasenia, who couldn't be here today, but she recorded one and sent us. So please allow me to share my screen. Give me a thumbs up if you can see the screen. Thank you.
Begin. Begin again. Why hold back from your new beginning? Aren't you done pretending? Aren't you ready for the excuses to stop trending? What do you gain from hiding? Nothing. It's time you begin ascending. It's what your soul is truly yearning. So begin. Begin again and take hold of what's waiting for you. Blessing after blessing after blessing. Your past no longer has a hold on you. Today, you decide to start anew. Today, you choose to believe that you are worthy. You're no longer going to try. Instead, you choose to be. So be everything you ever imagined that you could be. No more self-doubt and hesitation. Take action. Trust that the universe has your back and you are the star amongst the constellations. You were made manifest through divine calculation, perfect in every way. You don't need modification. So do yourself a favor and love yourself like no one else can. Do it now. Take a chance and never look back. Break up with the spirit of lack and get back on track. Do it now. Begin again.
Mm.
The key is to believe that you can. Dare to be your greatest fan. Dare to manifest each dream you envision. Remind yourself that you are done with indecision. Remember your mission. No more going back to those mental prisons, the ones that made you think that you were worthless or resourceless. Today, you are done with all of that mess. So begin. Begin again. No more holding back from your new beginning. No longer will you choose to keep losing. Stop being afraid of winning. Let's go. It's time. No more holding back from your new beginning. No more pretending. Let all your excuses stop trending because you gain nothing from hiding. Nothing. It's time you begin ascending. It's what your soul is truly, truly yearning. So begin. Begin again and take hold of what's waiting for you. Blessing after blessing after blessing. Your past no longer has a hold on you. Today, you decide to start anew. So begin. Begin again.
Now, wasn't that beautiful? I know she's not here, but let's give her some love in the chat so she can later on see this. And I would like to add a note to that. You know, Jasenia has been working really hard. She's a single mom of 4, and she's been working till late night, and she still got up early morning to send me this video. She was having a challenge. She ran to McDonald's just to send me this video. So, you know, she's like my little sister, and I'll support her in any way possible by contributing whatever I can from this academy to her. And if anyone wants to contribute anything to her, just reach out to me and I will get you her PayPal link. Some of you know her directly. So, you know, don't hesitate. Just help her out however you can, because her words have magic. You've heard her before, and she can really move mountains with her words. And if anyone here has any great connections to help her in any way getting some work, I mean, I think she should be on the stage whenever the president gets inaugurated. She has that power. So let's support her however we can. And finally, moving on to the main part of today. And that is our wonderful speaker, Angela Redondo. Now, who is Angela? Angela is phenomenal. If you've ever heard her speak, then you know she brings the passion and knowledge wrapped in such a big heart. Angela comes with years of experience as a professional in the horse industry. She's a board certified trainer of NLP. Angela is also certified trainer's trainer of timeline therapy by the Tad James Company. With a wealth of life experience, her heart is in giving back to the community with a focus on women and youth. And today, we learn the secret sauce in creating your future. Everyone, give some love in the chat to Angela. And Angela, the stage is all yours.
Wow. Isn't it amazing? We can hear these words and We let them marinate into our souls. And isn't it funny that we have these things? Oh, she's this, that, he's this, that. Oh, she's a mom, she's a wife, she's a horse rider. Oh, like a writer, a speaker, a dog whisperer. You know, we're really not all that. What we are is a divine vessel that is created to use all the gifts that have been placed inside of us right now for our purpose. And sometimes we may say, when I get this or that, when I have, you know, all the things, then I'll. Today, what we're going to do, it's really, really cool, is we're going to actually like bring life into a dream and learn how to set a goal and place it into our future. And today it's going to be interesting. I need to confess something. I'm going to ask permission, if that's okay for you. And I'd like you to put a heart in your, what do you call that? A screen, window, chat. If you, see, y'all are so quick. I'm going to ask you anything. Wow, I've got, no. I'm going to ask you for your permission. First of all, for your permission to be in this BU community. For your respect that Yogesh has brought us, this family that we get to come together. For an open heart and mind to play full out. And I'm going to ask for your permission, and your permission at times, I'm going to explain it, but I'm going to be talking to your unconscious mind. Now you're going to hear it consciously, and you'll know when I'm doing it, and I'll absolutely wink, and pretty soon you'll absolutely know how this flows. And if that's okay with you today, would you please put a heart in the window of their screen? Now, if anybody just wants to be an observer, that's perfectly okay too. You can sit back and you can just observe all you like. And do know that even as you observe consciously, that unconsciously, there's a little consciousness in all of that that'll be guiding you and directing you. So the basic premise for today is that all behavior and change happens on a conscious level first. And okay, so all behavior and change actually takes place unconsciously. But first, yeah, it happens on a conscious level first. So let me ask you a question. It's going to be a flashback. Do you remember when you were in high school and you were learning many things? Not those things. Wait, no. When you were in high school, that you were learning like the right angle. What in the chat, put what degree this is, the right angle. What degree is that? Oh, yay, 90 degrees. Good, class, 90. Perfect. Yes. Now, did you need to sit there and think, okay, 90, 90, 90, 90, 90, 90, 90. Did you need to think about that? Or where did it come from? Where did it come from? It just was 90 and it popped up just like that. In an instant, you had this information, 90 degrees. Okay, let me do another thing. So recite your phone number to yourself. You don't need to put it in the screen. Just recite your phone number. I know we have technology and all that. And when you've done it, just put a little thumbs up. Okay, so where did that come from? All of this is to say that Like, I know that consciously you don't think about these things, but unconscious, we have memories and stores and pictures and things that are stored in our unconscious mind that does a deletion, a distortion, a generalization, and it brings all of these thoughts into our mind. So we have an external event, a view that comes in, and then it goes through deletion, distortion, generalization, which means like, oh, all of our internal chatter. And we have visual, which are pictures, and we have auditory, which are sounds, and we have kinesthetic, which is feelings. And we have an internal dialogue, which is that 25 course people in your head that I'm going to ask permission for a moment. I mean, I don't know if all of you have people in your head talking, but sometimes I need to kind of turn my volume down on some of those voices that are in my head and turn it way on down. So your analyzer, your analytical little one there, can take a little break, if that's okay. Just ask it, check in and see. Good. Okay, so that being said, I want to show one more example. It's like I was talking, oh, I know who I was talking to. All right. Who remembers when you were first learning how to drive a car? Okay, stick or automatic? So what am I driving right now? That's the way I drove, right? Okay. So when, you know, all the things, you had a steering wheel and you had a blinker, right or left. You had, a radio, if you were allowed at that time to put it on, but there was so many things going on. It's like, boom, 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 all the things. Turn right, turn left, stay in the middle line, go, oh, don't cross that line, don't do, oh. And then you noticed all of a sudden, it all became automatic. If you change from the stick shift, it was automatic. All that information, now you did turn on the radio and you played your favorite tune and you sang and you had a place and all of a sudden arrived, bang, you were there. How did you get there? Your GPS was on and you just got there and you arrived. That's your unconsciousness. Thank you, unconscious mind, that it beats our heart, or they call it other things too. We can call it many things, but it breathes. We don't really have to think about those things logically. We're in this body, right? Okay, so I have another fun, cute, I don't know if anybody saw this week, I intentionally, on my feed, maybe you saw it, maybe you didn't. I put a baby. And the baby was like this little baby. And have anybody ever watched a baby? Thumbs up, yeah. So these little babies, you know, they have all of these senses. And you'll watch a little baby and they're like with this hand and they're like, oh, what is that? Oh my gosh, it's coming towards me. Boom. Oh no, what is that? And then the baby's like startled. It's crazy. Because all of these neurological connections are happening and developing at such a rapid place and space and time. And we're learning how to operate it. Now I want to ask, you know, I mean, I'm still actually learning how to operate mine. Yeah. And we're learning how to operate it physically. And we're learning how to operate it emotionally. And we're learning how to operate it in our physical, spiritually. There's so many levels of that operation. And I believe it's going to be a process. Like forever, right? And yet there's certain skill sets that as we open up our hearts and our minds and our possibilities, that we can actually learn that all behavior, first on a conscious level, and then on a unconscious level, all behavior is learned, and all change happens first on an unconscious level, and then, or actually on a conscious level, let's get that right. And then, did she just say that? Like, I don't know that girl. So, and then it happens first on a conscious level, and then it happens on an unconscious level. So awesome. Yes, it's habitual. Cool. Yeah. Who else? Let's see. Okay, so I got to go back. You guys, she drove a stick. Grace, a manual. It's habitual. That's right, James. It happens. And we're such a divine being that we're created with all of these, that's right, gifts. And we have an all-knowing. To know that if we just let go, we can create all the things, anything, any possibility. Human beings are designed to do it quicker and faster, evolve faster and quicker, and change can happen in an instant like that. You choose, that's right. I popped into your space like really, really close. Is that okay? All right. Okay. So how long does it take, again, back to the question, to run this mechanism? Put it in the chat. So James said he was ahead of us. It's habitual, universe intelligence. Anybody else want to take it? Okay, age, like let's put, okay, well, it takes 50 years for a little baby. Yeah, hello. All right, so do I have everybody here? I want to do something really quick. Let's do this. All right, I feel you. All right, so everybody, I want you to stand up. Because where focus goes, energy flows. Okay, so let's take our physical body, and I want you just to notice that you just open up your heart, open up your body, do a big stretch. Take a big breath. And just notice when you're in this position, your mindset, your focus, it's gratitude. Because in this space, language changes, focus changes. That's right. Focus, physiology first, change it. Focus will change. And so will your language. That internal chatter and everything else. Good. All right, so there we are. Thank you for playing along with me. That's playing full out. All right, suppose you woke up this morning, the person, okay, if you had a person, a cat, a dog, that was with you, they woke up really, really grumpy. And they were just being awoke, right? Like they were just like on the wrong side of the bed. All right. And if you could just say change, wouldn't that be amazing? Does it ever happen like that though? Has anybody ever, it's just like change. Like, you wake up and they're like, and you're like, change. Yeah. A bad habit, like, has anybody ever had a bad habit? And you wanted to change that bad habit? Thumbs up. And you worked on changing that habit, and you worked on changing that habit, and then you continued to get this like reminder. Now, bad habits are really, really interesting because as long as we consciously try to change them, try to pick up a pen. Can you try to pick it up? Try, really, really try. Yeah, it's quite undoable, right? Because you really, really try. Now, if it's pick up the pen, pick up the marker, that's a command, a direct command, and we can do it, right? Okay, so change can happen in an instant, like that. And it's really important, and this is why I frame this, is because in neuro-linguistic programming, in NLPs, a short for that, in timeline therapy, TLT, in hypnosis, it's really, really important that we know this, that change can happen in an instant. And that is amazing. So things that you've had on forever and ever and ever can actually happen like that. Can y'all all do that? Can you just go like that? I want you to feel what that feels like, a change like that. That can happen just in an instant like that. Cool. When change happens, it's at an unconscious level. All right. And this is truly, truly important about letting go. So when we're letting go of something, whether that is like any negative emotion, any limiting belief, anything that keeps us from getting our goal, we can let it go. Okay, put a heart if anybody's willing and wants to. All of it, just let it go. Anything that is not serving you, anything that isn't for your highest good, anything that isn't like benefiting you, you can let it go. Jolynn Callahan, yes. Aaron Hart, only when I say it to myself, yes. Okay, like we can actually change in the blink of an eye. Okay, it never stops, James, until we leave this physical body. All right, here. Cool. So these are really neat. So when we read those, we hear people's filters and all of our filters, and we all have different filters. So we may have had a certain filter, and I'll use the one kind of around money because money's a universal thing. And money is like, somebody maybe, okay, so maybe we've learned, maybe our mom or pop or grandparents or someone down the line may have said at one time, that like poverty or this has just been the way. And then all of a sudden you learn that actually change your thought, change your behavior. Because we have all of these thoughts and they go on and on and on. And if we just turn that little analyzer down just a little bit, change your thought, change your behavior. Okay, there's so much to discuss around this. Like there's so much in your heads like going, psh, I hope. Because that means that you're learning, and you're learning many things. And all the things that you can learn right now on a conscious and an unconscious level. And I saw some people came in, Marais, if I say it right, Marcos, Christina. I just wanted to say, is it okay with your unconscious mind today? consciously, I'm going to be speaking to you, and at times I may speak to you in an unconscious level. And is that okay? Do you give me permission? I just want to be upfront because I want you to know that we are talking with your unconscious mind today. And it's like a radio. It's like you're driving that car and it's a digital little radio. You turn the radio on. That's right. You're driving in your car, you turn the radio on. There's a song about that. And we're talking, but you are in charge of this change in an instant, and you get to choose. So you can turn the radio off if you choose, and that's okay. And you can just sit here and observe if you choose, and that's okay. And if you want to play along, that's cool too. I just want to ask permission. And if it's okay that we talk also on a level of the unconscious mind, just go ahead and put a heart in your screen, just because some people came in that I want to make sure that that's okay. Cool. Okay, we're going to take a 1-minute break. And here's what I need you to do in this 1-minute break. I need you to get a pen and get a paper, because we are going to, and take a stretch. 1 minute, 1 minute for real, because we've got a lot to unpack, and it's a 1 minute, because we'll have 2 minutes to prepare our goals, and we're about to start into that. And I want to make sure that you're here for that. So 1 minute, start the timer now, go. And I'm going to make a big pad. I do this really funny. I'm going to show you, but is that even? Whoop, whoop. All right, I know you've got your little analytical going on there. So is everybody back? All right, so what does this say? Unmute for 1 moment, Jackie, please. Can everybody see it? All right, unmute and you guys just unmute yourself or unmute Jackie, everybody, and let's just say it.
No, it's too far away. You can't see anything.
It says you get what you focus on, so focus on you.
Oh. Huh.
Oh, focus on what you something. You get what you focus on, so
focus on what you.
Yeah, it ends after that.
What do you think's missing there?
That's what you want. What
Oh.
you're desiring. So
Bingo!
focus on what it is you desire.
Yes. So focus on what you want. All right. Okay, so you get what you focus on. So focus on what you want. All right, now that is to be set. Okay, so it's like when you focus on what you want, you need to say it the way you want it. One of the greatest contributions in neurolinguistic programming is that the way you state the goal does make the difference. It is the difference that makes the difference. Focusing on, this isn't pretty, I'm gonna take it down. It bothers me. I'm a line your P's and your Q's girl, so focus on what you want. All right, so say it the way you want it. Now, I want to just go over really quickly. I'm sure a lot of you, there's many schools on SMART goals. Has anyone put a thumbs up if you've heard about a SMART goal? It's a specific and simple, which it's just a clear. I want you to take something simple. All right. And that is, it's meaningful to you. It's achievable as if you have it right now. Okay, now this part, it's realistic, it's ecological. So that means for yourself, for your family, or for others, and for the world. So, all right. And ecological, good for you and good for others. Okay. And the environment is important. And then it's timed for what you want, and it's toward what you want. Now, let me explain that really quickly. Toward, what does that mean? So I want a date of the time of when you'll have that goal by. And when I say toward, so we know that there's sometimes in the past that there's been some limiting decisions or beliefs or things or choices that we've had. And those things or choices have sometimes held us back from the things that we want. So what today I'd like to just ask you, if you would just make that, if you would just say, you know what? Today, I'm going to create and I'm going to allow that it's a goal that is I am toward for. And let me explain just a little bit is what cause and effect is like, okay, so am I at the cause of my life or am I at the effect of my life? Am I accountable and responsible? And yes, all things that are happening to me, I have a part, I have a place, whatever is happening is being used for my good in the future, right here, right now. Every single detail of our lives works out for good. Now, if we can stay in that toward positioning, that means that anything I can do, because I can't change something if I'm at the effect of it. That means I'm a victim, and if I'm in that position, then I can't make a difference. And if I'm in the position that I can absolutely make this difference because I am accountable no matter what, I'm accountable. So when that guy cuts you off as you're driving in your car, and you turn the radio on the radio, he pulls in front of you and you want to say, hey, and you just say no. You say, I'm in charge. I'm driving my car and I've got this and I am accountable. And all things, maybe that door shut, but this one open because you know what? You are. That's right. At cause. So I needed to go over that. So in a realistic goal, you're at cause. And all the things, you're making it happen. So it's a toward goal and it has a date, a clear date. So this is a specific SMART goal, specific, meaningful to you, achievable, realistic, and timed. Perfect, SMART. All right. So I'm going to ask for 2 minutes. We tried some music yesterday, trying to figure that out. I don't think we're going to put it just in case it got crazy, but let's do that. So 2 minutes. I want you to write a goal, short, SMART goal. Go. In 2 minutes, Yeah. Time. Everybody has their goal. Put a thumbs up in your screen if you have your goal, or just thumbs up. All right. Cool. Great. Jolynn and how do I say Marais and Reka, just a thumbs up if you've got your goal. Awesome, coolio. Okay, so let's take a look at your goal. All right, so I need to ask you something, and this is going to require, again, for you, some people, you know, we talked about a moment ago, went so fast through it, but we talked about visual. Visual is pictures. Sometimes we get a picture. Sometimes we hear sound. Sometimes we get a feeling. Sometimes we have this internal dialogue, and sometimes we have a taste or we have a smell. I mean, you've heard somebody say like, I don't know, that just smells a little, anyway, yeah. So, you know, people use their language to their representations. So some people say, oh yeah, like, you know, I saw the other day, it was just amazing. And yeah, oh, you know what I heard? And then somebody's, I just get a feeling. And then you have that, yeah, that, I don't know, like, is this the, yeah, will I? Can I? Wow, is that even possible right now? So, you know, we have all of these representations, and they're the ways in that are, that's right, unconscious mind stores all this information. So I'm going to ask again, if it's okay with your unconscious mind for you just to play around a little bit with your goal, with that picture or that sound or the kinesthetic or that dialogue analytical one that you just heard, that you inside, deep inside, that you just knew, and with that smell or with that taste. If you can just allow us to play with that. So let's look at your goal. And I want to ask you, what is the last thing that has to happen that you know that you got your goal? The last thing, what's the last thing that has to happen that you know you got your goal? And when you got it, give me a thumbs up. The last thing, this happens quick. The last thing that has to happen when you got your goal, the last thing that has to happen, you got your goal. All right, cool. All right. And when you got it, I want you to step right into it now. Good. So you're looking through your own eyes, and if it's okay, if everybody could just cool, I just invite you just to, that's right. They just begin to blink a little heavier, and I don't know, all of a sudden they're just blinking and they're blinking. They just may want to close your eyes right now. Good. And take a deep breath. And just be here in the center of your head. That's right. Good. And what's the last thing that has to happen that you know you got it? And when you got it, step right into it. So you're looking through your own eyes. And the next thing we're going to do is just adjust the qualities, like on a television screen. You have a knob inside your brain. You didn't know you had a screen inside your brain. So is it focused, clear, crisp? Are there sounds? Now take the size and move it in and out. That's right, in and out, make it closer. If it's a movie, make it still. If it's a still, make it a movie. That's right. Adjust it just right. Now any sounds, adjust the sounds, turn up the sounds if you need to. That's right. Good. Now step out of the picture and good. Good. Okay, open your eyes. There was some things happening there. I wanted you to have a little experience. However, before you have some knowledge of what we're about to do. And what I want to ask you, I mean, did everybody brush their teeth this morning? Did we? Did everyone brush? Or yesterday or last night or midday or floss? Or did you ever brush your teeth? Okay, so if you ever did brush your teeth, all right, can you remember that? Do you get a sound? Do you get a picture? Okay, cool. So that is showing you that, yes, that these, let's see, cool. That these memories, I'm reading the chat for a second, for messages. Cool. Awesome. Thank you, Marcus. Great. Good. Okay. So did everybody ever brush their teeth? Anybody? All right. So the picture or the sound or that comes up and it comes right up into whatever presence. And what I'd like to show you is this is a little elicitation. So we all store time in different ways. And so I'm going to just play around a little bit to find out if you don't notice that you have a picture, then could you notice that? And is your past, is it arranged by location of, or is it like, how would it look if? And I just maybe, if you could just notice that, I'm gonna, let's play. I'm gonna ask you another question. Let's see. Can you remember something that happened a week ago? And I need some response here. Anybody? Can you remember something that happened a week ago?
Yes.
Cool. And can you remember something that happened a month ago?
Yes.
Cool. Thank you, Yogesh. Can you think about something that you have planned in the future? Okay. So if you notice when these moments come up that they've been stored and they've been stored in time. Okay, so you have, if I were to ask you where your past is, and I need, if everybody could, I need you to see, like, if, well, just notice this line, because I need to see you. I've got a lot of blanks, but if you were to notice where your line is, where, like, where your past is, which way would you point? Nothing's correct. It doesn't have to be that way. Okay, so everybody point in the direction of your past. Oh, cool. Okay. And if I were to ask you where your future is, where would you point? Good, Joe, back to right. Cool. Okay. All right. So we have all of the different ways, which is really fun. And I want to take you, if that's okay, on just a little test drive on your timeline. So once again, just close your eyes. And just notice that you can make a noticeable difference of where your timeline was, or where your past was and where your future is. And when I say line, I don't mean to imply only visual, because in a moment, I'm going to ask you to float up above that line. And by float, I also mean as sounds of floating on the wind or floating in the bathtub or the sea, or visually. And however you float above your timeline is perfect. So you can just float above your timeline and make sure that you're looking through your own eyes. Now, remaining above your timeline, just float back into the past. Are you there? Good. Good. And now I'd like you just to float back towards now and stop there. Are you there? Good. And now, facing toward the future, float up higher and farther back into the past. Good. And now float into your future. Are you there? Now float up higher, float so high that your timeline seems 1 inch long. Good. And float back to now and come into the room. So just really quick in the chat, just put it in the chat. How was that? Welcome back. So back right, forward in front. How was that experience? Good. Fun. Fun. Cool. Interesting. Good. All right, so the goal, you have your goal. Just bring that goal back to mind. And when you got it, I want you just to think about that picture again, or that sound, or that feeling. You got it? Good. And let's just adjust it once again to make it just right, perfect. What are the sounds that you hear? What are the things that you see? How's the picture? Is it still? Is it moving? Is it fast? Is it slow? What are the feelings? Now take the size and move it in and out. Make it closer if it's a movie. Make it still. Make it a movie, make it a still, make it a shot. With those dials, you can do anything and make it just right. And now I want you to step out of the picture, float right out into the future to that exact moment that you put on that date. And it happens on that date as though you said, my word was law in the universe. Good. And when you're there, just go ahead and drop the picture. Let go. Drop it right down into your timeline, all the way down. There it goes. And when it hits the timeline, just notice that all the events going back to now reevaluate themselves. And all the events back to now, and all the events reevaluate themselves. And going from there and into the future, reevaluate themselves just like that. Just like that. Good, good. And then when you're ready, making sure you're above your timeline, come all the way back to now. And come into the room. And welcome back. Well, the interesting thing, and this may surprise you, that is the secret sauce to creating your future. That's right. So back to that little story that I was saying, way back on a talk that I had with, I think it was Yogesh. I don't know if anybody heard about that little story that I was on the beach and I was watching this dog, like this kite surfer, and I was filming this kite surfer, and the kite surfer had this kite and it said 11 11, and I was in the moment and it was visual. I heard the sea, I could feel the feelings, and one little thing, I had my dog leash tied to my foot. Now that seemed like the right thing to do at the moment, so I could really join the moment. And at this one moment, I was watching that surfer, and it said on the kite, by the way, in Puerto Rico, they have a message on the kite, and it was my 11/11 moment. I was like, what? 11/11, the perfect moment. All of those numbers that mean so many things. And in a split of a second, my dog named Polo, who weighs 110 pounds, he went the other way. I forgot, did I tell you? That's right. That's what I did. I went sand surfing right behind my dog, right with him, and there we were. And in a split of a second, there was a change. And in a split of a second, my direction, it was like, not this way, that way. And that's what happened. Now, there could be a lot of frames around this. I could say, wow, this is a bummer. I could say, oh man, I went flying in the sand. 6 weeks later, after a lot of therapy and all of these things, I came with great gratitude to say sometimes in life when we're going one way, there'll be a pause, 11/11 moment, that it'll be, hey, did you consider this? And that is my speak. Any questions? Is there anything I need to know? What do I need to know? What did you learn?
Thank you, Angela, for that. Anyone have any questions or any takeaways from today? Please unmute yourself and speak.
Let me get into the chats. It was fun, right?
Oh, yes. Jolyn says, love you. Thank you.
Love you, Joey. Thank you. I've known Joe forever.
What was your takeaway? Erin, I saw you comment there, simpler method than I was taught.
Yeah. So there's new possibilities, right?
Actually, yes. In my NLP training, it is a process that has quite a few more steps than we did today. So I think, though, that, let's be honest, I was applying some of those other things that I knew to kind of round out the experience. However, I was also consciously following and going, wow, isn't this simpler? We cut that step and okay, this is nice. So I did enjoy it. Thank you very much. The other thing is I loved you used the word, what was it? Because you used a different word than I do. When things go from that moment in the future, back to the present. I forget the word that you used. I apologize, but I always use the word recalibrate.
Ah.
I used it in terms, that's, I think of how everything has
So
now
reevaluate,
that's what you had put. That's right. And I always thought of it in
realign
terms
all
of
the way back. Yeah.
recalibrate, because that gives me also that subconscious visual of it's working, because I'll just see like little cogs and things like moving and realigning and just recalibrating, and I'll just that helps me. And I realize that this is all on the subconscious level, but I call that line between our conscious and our subconscious brain, I call it the puppy. It's like a 5-year-old lab puppy. The puppy loves us. The puppy will do anything for us, including that puppy is going to protect us. That puppy, we train the puppy. And at 5 years old, the lab still thinks it's a puppy. So there's still training involved. So I know that for my puppy, when I think of recalibrating, it allows my puppy to say, okay, good, something's happening. I'll believe it.
Yeah.
And again, I know that's just a subconscious internal thing that, I've done with my puppy, because I found that's how it works for me. So this was great. Thank you.
Yeah. Did you have a question?
I love the fact that it's not so much a question as a statement. I love the fact that you did point out to everybody that not everyone is visual. So if you didn't, quote unquote, see it in your mind's eye, that the feeling of it, the sensing of it, that essence of it happening, that was really important. So thank you.
Yay. So yeah, let me just have a quick response. So Erin, there's many techniques. And in a time like this in neurolinguistic programming, this is actually a master timeline therapy course. And so there's a lot of things that can happen on the unconscious level, can happen really quickly. And when you do timeline therapy, there's a lot around that. There's letting go of negative emotions, letting go of limiting decisions, the things that hold you back. And in a short time like this, I just wanted you to have an experience on your timeline to actually check deeper into it, because there are steps, and yet still, this is a way, even when, if you just have an event or something. I know when I compete horses, I go out into my future. Mine isn't about the ribbon or the award. It's about being connected and having that synergy. So just giving you that drive in the car of the timeline, elicitation. Anybody else? Good point. Thank you.
There's a question in the chat by Maurice. Thank you. That was awesome. How is this different from flow dreaming?
Oh, wow. Like I said, I really don't know what flow dreaming is. I know that there is a lot of techniques. So I'll have to check into that. I don't have that answer. What I know is there's many ways to take a SMART goal and put it into your future. And this is one way today that we're just unpacking, and it's just the secret sauce of creating your future. And basically what that really means, just to put it down, as Erin mentioned, it needs to be visual, pictures. It needs to be auditory, because some people aren't all visual, or it could be a little synergy of all. So visual, auditory, kinesthetic, your internal dialogue, smells, olfactory, all of those internal representations that are happening when that significant event comes in, then how you process that. So you make it and you adjust it to be your most experiential, the best, the color, the volume, the whatever detail you need to make it the best experience of what you needed to have right before, the very last thing you needed right before you got it. Yeah, how is it called? Dreaming? What's it called?
Dreaming.
Flow dreaming. I'm gonna check it out. I think it sounds amazing. Cool.
Grace has her hand raised. Grace, go ahead, unmute yourself, ask your question.
Okay. Hi, Angie.
Hey,
You look beautiful.
thank you. Aw.
Okay, so I
You
have a
look
question.
beautiful. I love your energy every time I ever get to see you. I just want to see more and
you.
more.
Thank you, thank you. So, I liked what we did. You know, the time travel, going back, the present and the future. So, my question is, can you do anything practical, like if you want to change something from the past? Can you do anything like immediately, practically, to make that change? Is there a possibility? Okay, so I'd like to hear you, talk on that or say something about that particular
Yes. So
experience.
what I love, yes, yes, yes. So normally when we go into a timeline therapy training, or if you actually have that session, you go into the actually root cause. So we flip back on the timeline, and I'll ask you a little questions around that. If you were to know, like, let's take the, something like negative emotions, anger, fear, sadness, guilt, conflict. If you were to know the very first time that you had that, was it before, during, or after your birth? And if you were to know, what age were you, or this or that? So then we go into the root cause, and what happens in that moment. It's really, really a lot to unpack, but what happens in that moment is that you find the positive learning. So we go in trainings, we go over the presuppositions of NLP, and that is a lot of them, but a few of them is that the unconscious mind's prime directive is to preserve the body. And so it does things that it may suppress a memory for a bit until you have a positive learning of which, when you knew that learning, you're allowed to get the positive learning so that the unconscious mind goes, okay, and it can let go of that negative state or negative emotion or limiting belief or limiting decision. Take the positive learning so that if it needs the other situation in the future, it has it, it's there. You don't erase it, it's there. But it had a positive learning, it was there with a purpose. So you gather that positive learning, and then with that, you float that out into your future and allow it to reevaluate all the things all the way back to now. Does that answer your question? Yeah.
Yes,
It's really amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's really.
Can I ask one more?
You can ask.
This is outside.
I'm here. I'm good. I love these questions.
So this is outside. So this is outside. Okay, still in the topic. But do you believe? I'd just like to know what you think about. We were told or we're taught that we were born tabula rasa, without any form of memory, that we're born clean slate. Okay. What do you think? What do you think about that statement? Recently, I've been probing that, so I'd like to hear from your perspective what you think about that particular statement.
I love your question.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, your question is that we're born clean slate, and you would like to hear my personal answer to that. Okay. So I believe that, if you read the Bible, it talks about that there was generational things. So different teachers throughout time have talked about generational things that come up in time and through time. So we already have an idea that these certain things could be passed down generationally, like we talked about a while ago when we were talking about like a negative thing around money. Oh, our family always had this or that. So even being a little bitty baby, let's say that just on the level of a womb, and then mama has these thoughts and they're walking around with this poverty mindset and has this thought, and it's like, oh, wow, wow, well, I guess that's it. So the child comes up and it's like, wow, and it's born and it's like, what, I'm new, I got all new beginnings. And yet oh, we always had this thing. Well, I believe that's kind of a generational thing that comes in, a generational belief system that is kind of, if you will, in my hallucination of this answer to this question, let me frame it properly, is, have you ever watched these cute videos of a duck hanging out with kitties? Walk like a duck, talk like a duck, then you find a cat.
Yes.
And then you start seeing this duck do cat behaviors. So there's imprinting that happens, and how do we know? Like you know, you're born into this environment and then something else is possible. So to answer your question, I believe that we are born with an innate knowing, with a divine plan to do a divine purpose and to live that out. And sometimes there's limiting beliefs, limiting decisions, and negative emotions that stand in our way. And it could be genealogically, and it could be generationally passed on in my personal experience. And in timeline therapy, we actually unpack that a little bit more. And I have to say, it makes sense to me.
Thank you. I share the same thoughts. Thank you.
Yay! Thank you for the question. It really helped bring clarity to the group. I really appreciate that question. Thank you.
Any other questions or takeaways from today? Feel free to unmute yourself. Christina says, I agree. Christina, do you want to share a bit on that? If you can unmute yourself, Christina.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With everything, with self-limiting beliefs, with everything I've learned through quantum, that is completely goes along with the mindset I have. It's interesting because I've been seeing my life, like my life path, but it comes in as a maze when I see it. I have not seen it the way you showed it to me today. It was very interesting. I always saw it as a maze before, not just a line. And it was today, it came in as an actual line. So it was interesting. So thank you. But yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, I encourage you to play around with that a little and
I'm going
get
to.
even more clarity now. That's cool.
Yeah, I will. But that's really cool. Thank you. I appreciate everything.
Great question. Great response. Great experience. I'm really happy to hear your personal experience. That is it. I think it really brought encouragement and teaching to us all, and I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah.
Any other questions or comment or takeaways? You can unmute or put it in the chat. And if not, then we can start wrapping up.
Yeah.
So going once, going twice, gone. Okay, guys, that was a beautiful, beautiful experience by Angela. Angela, I want to thank you for being our first speaker in the BU community. I learned a lot, not just today, but from the talks we've had recently. And everyone, give her some love in the chat before we start wrapping up. And yeah, thank you so much for that. And Angela and I was talking, and she's going to be coming up with a NLP practitioner course sometime in July. So all of you for the BU community, whoever is interested, when I get more details from her, I will forward them to you. Just reach out to me and you will get the details for it. Now, if you got value from today's meeting, please put it in the chat. Give me a 111 if you got value from today's chat. Thank you, Erin. Thank you, Jackie. Thank you, Prakash, Maurice. Thank you, Francisca. Well, this was just the beginning of the BU community, everyone. A lot of you have reached out to me and said, you know, how do we sign up for this? And I will be sending out the details in email to everybody. And it's going to be every Friday like it used to be before. But I don't want to talk about it today. I'm just going to send it out in the email. If you have any questions or any concerns, we're even going to start a Facebook group. And whoever is signing up for this community will be part of that group. And we're going to keep it very tight. And I want to make this container a very sacred container. I don't want it to be just anybody coming in. It's the people who want to grow. And earlier I didn't mention it, but my vision is to create the largest personal development club in the world. And my mission is to have everyone in this community be the best versions of themselves in all areas of their lives, whether it's physically, mentally, spiritually, and financially. So those of you that are interested, I will send you an email and you can reach out to me and Jackie will follow up with you. But thank you so much for attending the first BU community talk. Once again, thank you to Angela. And even though Jasenia is not here, thank you to her. We will see you next Friday. We will announce our next speaker very soon. And thank you so much for coming. You can unmute yourselves. You can on your cameras if you wish. And we can head our ways.
Thank you, Yogesh. Thank you so much. Just like I said before, this platform is awesome. I know you have all the skills and all the resources to drive this vehicle and all of your passengers and people along to be the best version of themselves. You're awesome. And I love that because your vulnerability and your vision is one that I know that you will have many, many, many people having transformation. And the ultimate goal is because it's not about ourselves, it's about others and giving back to our community to make this place a better place and to transform the planet. That is true.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Angela. And when I had that session with you yesterday, I saw that, you know, I felt it, like I told you. And I'm just happy that whoever's here, and I'm happy that you were our speaker today. And I look forward to making this community grow. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Okay, everyone, thank you for coming and we will start heading. Thank you, Maurice. I love that comment, Maurice. There's a lot of happening this week with words, ideas, concept, techniques like this one pushing me towards my goals. Thank you, Coach Angela. Oh, there's the comment for you, Angela.
Thank you.
Thank you, BU community. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. See you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
See you soon. Bye.